like to welcome you to Monday Mastermind. We're going to be talking about unique selling propositions today. I think it's something that everybody can embrace in their business. I think it's there's a lot to be said about unique selling propositions, and hopefully you'll get the flavor of what we're talking about as we move through. We're going to give you several examples from several different companies, not only with real estate, but with other businesses as well. So I think it'll be, it was always something that changed my life and my real estate career. It was something that was very useful for me that I started, back in 1997, 98 when I started in real estate, and something that I would still use today. So hopefully there's value in that for you. Before we begin, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, AnnieMac, throughout the United States. Without them, this program wouldn't be possible. So we certainly want you to honor them with some loan apps and pre-qualifications and a simple thank you for providing this program for you. There's no cost for you guys whatsoever, no coaching series to buy. Like I said, it would not be possible without them. So reach out to your AnnieMac loan officer, thank them, and send them some loan apps and pre-quals. Put some buyers into that pipeline. Talking about unique selling propositions, the idea here is how to earn attention, how to earn attention of that prospect, of that buyer. How do we get them in the store? How do we get them to call you? How do we get them to buy that product is the focus in this conversation for you. WIFM. There's only one radio station that your customer listens to. It's WIFM. What's in it for me is the only question that your advertising needs to answer. When we look at this, small businesses, especially associate level marketing, should never move away from direct response marketing. Institutional marketing is for the big boys. You're not a big boy. So that direct response marketing is really the conversation. And, talking about maybe Nike or Apple advertising to the masses, you're looking for more of a direct response in this conversation. And that radio station, WIFM, is really all about that consumer. What's in it for them? How are you going to do something? What are you going to do for me? What are you going to do differently than the other people is the conversation we need to have. So moving throughout the next 30 to 40 minutes of this session, we need to be thinking about that conversation and thinking about what's in it for the consumer and how we're able to deliver that perception of value. Like I said at the beginning, you can maximize your screen in the top right corner. It'll blow up the slides. Some of these are a little smaller, so it may help you to do that. And that way you can see things more clearly. But everybody does this type of direct response conversation. It's what's in it for me. When you look at the top hotel chains throughout the country, when you go to Hotwire, they're all focused on price and star ratings. And that's the conversation is, look, what can I get for $61 in Orlando, Florida? What can I get for $63 in Fort Lauderdale, $83 in Miami? And if you've been to any of those places, you know those prices are ridiculous and you would question what they are. So they're always in it. What's in it for you? What's in it for me? And to get your attention to choose them over the competition out there. My goodness, Groupon does it about 350,000 times a day. I get little pings and pop-ups on my phone all throughout the day with stuff, that seems like fits my wheelhouse. $39 for 10 yoga classes. I bet that's a popular one. I bet everybody's jumping on it. I've bought 4 passes to Sky Zone. I bought 4 passes to the Grand Prix Racerama, go-kart, putt-putt track, batting cages, all that stuff. That's in it for me. Sure, I love a good deal. I love that conversation. So it applies to me, and that's that radio station that your consumer listens to. Walgreens has that digital billboard. Aquafina water, 6-pack, 2 for $4. If you're like me, and I assume that you are in ways, but I walk into Walgreens or Target for one thing. Maybe I'm going to get some toilet paper. Maybe I'm going to get some paper towels. Maybe I'm going to get a new video game. And I walk out $125 later with 6 bags in my hand. I walk into Walgreens for a $5 item, walk out with $32 worth of stuff. So happens all the time, but that's that getting that consumer's attention, getting them to come into your doors in that what's in it for me conversation. And that's the whole idea of what you need to be thinking about within your real estate career. How do you get them to come into your door? How do you get them to call you? How do you get them to want to list with you? One of my favorites, what is that, K Jewelers there? $19.99 for those pendants. And I don't know if you realize, but they've got a super lens on that camera. Because they actually look pretty nice right there in that picture for $19.99. But when you get into the store, they are the smallest quarter vending machine items that you'll ever see. And no man is going to buy that for his significant other. I mean, I don't think that conversation, that might be something my 8-year-old goes and gets for her mommy, with her piggy bank. They're positioned right next to the really pretty rings from $199 and up. So it's I would say bait and switch, but it's not a bait and switch because they actually will sell you that product. So it's pretty compelling in that conversation to entice you to get into the door. I can buy a piece of jewelry for $20. So you'll see it all the time, especially around, Valentine's Day and Mother's Day and things like that. You'll see these ads pop up, and all designed to get your attention, to grab you. Al Hendrickson Toyota, one of the largest car dealers around, does this all the time as well. They advertise that $19,820 car for $14,888. We've all seen that. We've all seen them in the papers. And you go in for that car, and well, come on. Is that car ever anywhere to be found? Is it ever available? If it were, it would be crank windows. You remember those windows used to roll up by hand? No power seats, AM radio maybe AM, FM at the bare minimum here, no CD, no DVD, no Bluetooth, any of that stuff. And it's all designed to get you in the car because you're automatically going to be compelled to want more. You're going to want power windows and power seats. You're going to want leather over cloth. You're going to want a moonroof. You're going to want Bluetooth connectivity in your car. They know this. But the idea is, come to Al Hendrickson Toyota. Don't go to Dean Toyota. Don't go to John Toyota. Come to Al Hendrickson Toyota and look at my $14,888 Camry, and you decide what's best for you. And it's very simple. They're going to get you every time. I don't think I've ever known anybody that I've ever came in contact with or know somebody that got that car at that $14,888. So understand that what's in it for me. Domino's Pizza changed the pizza delivery business. Guaranteed to be there 30 minutes or less. Really changed the conversation in those little in those pizza chains and those delivery systems. It's not about the product at all. I mean, is Domino's Pizza better than Papa John's? Is it better than Pizza Hut? To me, it's all horrible pizza. It's about convenience. I got 2, 3, 4, 5 hungry kids. If I'm having a slumber party, I need pizza. They're banging on the walls. They're banging on the table. We want pizza. We want pizza. I'm calling Domino's, man. Give me that thing in 22 minutes. Let's go. $8 a pie, whatever it is. Let's get this thing moving. So it really changed that. And like I said, it's not about the quality of the food. It's about the convenience of the product. And what's in it for me is that convenience, that time factor. God, if it was 32 minutes and I got it for free, well, I'm happy. Kids are a little grumpier, but I just saved $42. So that's what's in it for me, man. So I hope you understand the context of that. It's not at all about, I don't know, don't look too much into it, but really understand that what's in it for me portion of this conversation. Glasses made in an hour. I mean, how nice is it that you go in and get your eye appointment done and you get your glasses in an hour? You don't have to make 2 or 3 trips in to get this situation handled. Rite Aid does the 15-minute prescription guarantee. We've all had to fill prescriptions. They go, when do you want to pick it up? I'm like, well, right now. I'm here. I'm at your window. So can I have it now? So when what makes Publix, Target, Safeway, Walmart, Walgreens, Rite Aid, CVS, what makes them special? They all fill the same prescriptions. They all got the same standardized pricing. What are you going to do for me? What's in it for me in this conversation? 15-minute prescriptions is in it for me, man. I don't have to drop it off, go wander around for 30 to 45 minutes, or get back up, get in my car, drive back down to the place, and pick up my prescription an hour later. So that's a pretty powerful conversation, especially if you're sick. Who wants to deal with that kind of rigmarole? So those are all unique selling propositions that are designed to pique the interest of the consumer. Now, some of the things that you're going to look at in this conversation are, the first thing is that it's tough on the service provider. Is it tough for Domino's to deliver a pizza in 30 minutes or less? Absolutely. A lot of pieces of those puzzles need to fall into place in order to arrive at that goal. First and foremost, you got to get the product into the oven in the appropriate amount of time so that it cooks properly. And then you've got to get it out to a 18, 16, 19, 20-year-old driver to get it to that house within 8 to 10, 12 minutes. Of course, not asking for risk or injury or speeding or anything like that to go into it. Is it tough to fill a prescription in 15 minutes? Is it tough to make the eyeglasses? So it is very tough on the service provider. It has enormous perception of value for the consumer. Yeah, I like my glasses. I like my pizza quick. I like my prescription filled fast. It pushes the edge of the envelope where people might say, well, it's too good to be true. Can I really get that Camry for $14,888? Yeah, they'll have one, but it won't be what you want. And you'll ultimately buy one for $17,500, $18,900. And it generates a lot of internal dialogue for you. How can they do that? That's aggressive. I like them. That's what I'm talking about. Is this for real? How can you do that? All those things come into conversation for you and play until you sit down and explain the conversation. And the features, advantages, and benefits are the big part of this conversation for you. You can move into, what does your prospect want? What are they hoping for in the real estate transaction? First and foremost, the top 5 answers are on the board. Number 5 is honest answers. I don't know. I think that's pretty fair in any kind of business transaction or any transaction at all. Fastest sale possible? Yeah, absolutely. Can we sell this thing quick? I don't want to be having people running through my house for 6 months and boxes all over the place. Control over the outcome. I certainly want to have their hand in the conversation. They want to know that they're in control, that they have options, that they have the right to do certain things. The least inconvenience. I mean, that's, nobody likes the whirlwind of closing on one home and moving into another home. That's a 3 to 4 to 5, 6 month process that completely uproots your life. And then, of course, they want the highest possible price. I mean, I've always told people in my other classes, especially our staging class, our customer first class that we do, the secret pill is, how do we get the highest possible price in the shortest amount of time? Once we address those 2 questions, a lot of other things go away and become very, very easy for our clients. But what features do you offer to match that need? That feature, advantage, benefit. Honest answers, guaranteed short sales. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities in this that consumers don't even know about. We're going to touch on a little bit more as we move into this conversation. Fastest sale possible. What about a unique selling proposition of a short-term listing agreement, 60-day, 90-day? And I used to do this all the time, and it worked very effectively for me because it put a little more pressure on me because, like we said a couple slides ago, it's tough on the service provider. Did we say that it was tough for Domino's to do that 30 minutes or less pizza? It's tough for Rite Aid to do that 15-minute prescription, but there's that risk-reward. Control over the outcome. Like I said, 30, 60, 90-day sale guarantee. I'm going to touch on that. I know that makes people quiver a little bit, but to me, it was one of the most powerful things that I ever did in my real estate business that changed my trajectory. And you might match them up with buy with us and use this truck for free. And then, of course, free staging services. So those are all some features, advantage, and benefits that you can demonstrate to your consumer in your unique selling proposition that start to differentiate you. And I want to break down a few of them for you. But we have our staging designation. Is it fair to say that you can go out and utilize that staging designation to show them how you can get the highest possible price in the shortest amount of time, staging their house properly, getting it prepared to show, getting it to be enticed for offers, and get him out of that home? We have a lot of letter templates and door hanger templates. If you haven't taken the staging class and received your designation, I highly encourage you to do so. It's those things that start to separate you out from the other realtors in your marketplace, those different things that make you special. We've all got brokers that advertise. We've all got syndicated websites. We've got all electronic lock boxes. What makes you different? What makes you Jane, Douglas, Cynthia? What makes you special? than the other realtor down the street. And a lot of these unique selling proposition, your staging designation, are all things that can certainly do that for you. You've all seen these trucks, in your area, parked in parking lots overnight and over the weekend. List with me and use this truck for free. They're all normally like those 12, 14-foot box trucks. A lot of people go to the extreme in wrapping them. And you'll see on the back of this one, they've got sponsors on the back that help subsidize the cost. Maybe they got a title company, or they got a lawn guy, a pool guy, whatever fits the needs in that state that helps subsidize the cost. But you can see that barely cover a one-room apartment. So I think that, obviously the unique selling proposition is that enticement. Hey, this guy's serious, this girl's serious, they've got a moving van, they clearly been doing this, they pay $400, $500, $600 a month with insurance and a payment and wrapping to provide this. So there's some value in that conversation, but I think that there's some better unique selling propositions, some easier ones that you can do that don't require such a big time financial parking commitment, if you will. You can take a look here that Penske Truck Rental, U-Haul, Budget, all these different service providers right within a 3 or 4 mile radius of where I'm located that provide these trucks. So you can use that same listing tool, move with me and use this truck for free. You pay $150 one time at closing. Okay, once you get paid, you get the truck. It's not that $600 a month commitment for 3, 4, or 5 years, depending on the type of truck you buy. And you can do some marketing yourself with this bigger truck, this cooler truck, that you can brand yourself accordingly and get on Microsoft Publisher and put your own little lettering and logo on there, kind of over the U-Haul conversation. And all I think it would require is at that point, right at closing, you go get a $250 gift card at the local U-Haul facility for a 26-foot truck. I know on a local, I helped a friend move about a year ago, and I think it was like $200. And that it was the furniture dolly, the appliance dolly, a regular dolly, 3 or 4 dozen pads, tie-down straps, all those things that you'll need that were covered in that $200. So you can actually provide a 26-foot truck with all the amenities that go along with it, as a part of that unique selling proposition. And of course, once you're done, you're done. Okay, you don't have to park that truck, worry about insurance issues and those conversations that come into play, somebody getting hurt on it, whatever the case may be. So that's one way to look at a twist on a unique selling proposition for yourself. Your home sold in 60 days guaranteed, or we'll sell it for free. I had the privilege, honor, and stress, if you will, to manage over 500 agents from 2000 to 2007. And I taught a lot of people about this 30, 60, 90-day sale guarantee. We started out doing, we'll sell your home in 30 days or less, or pay you $500 cash guaranteed. It was, to me, the closest thing in this conversation would be the Toyota Camry or the Kay Jewelers ad that would come into play for me in this conversation. Maybe all of them would, but those are the two that kind of stick out and ring for me, because it's not a bait and switch. When I get to a seller and present their options, okay, I'm going to present a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day option to them, and their own instinct is going to take over. Their own internal dialogue is going to take over to where they're going to choose the 90 to 120-day option. It happens every time. Nobody's going to choose the 30-day option because it most times isn't the best scenario for them. They're not going to choose the $19.99 ring. They're going to choose the $199 to $3,000 ring. They're going to want the power windows, power locks, leather interior, Bluetooth connectivity in the Camry. That's just the human instinct of this. So I really want you to try to understand exactly where we're going with this, because it was the most powerful, unique selling proposition tool that I ever used throughout real estate in the last 18 to 20 years. Changed our life, changed our business plan, changed my trajectory, changed my family's life from adding that one statement into my marketing pieces. I can't tell you. You see it all the time now, and I'm going to show you other examples as well. And some of you are afraid because you don't understand it. You haven't embraced it. You don't have that internal dialogue to go along with it. So I'd encourage you to get on some of our other classes, and maybe the Bulletproof Listing class, and Carrie or Russ are going to go over it on Wednesday workshop with you about more in depth about that 60-day sale guarantee and a lot of these personal unique selling propositions. You see billboards all over town. You see it in different marketing, all things that are, out that you see in the public's eyes from people doing these type of things. I'll pay your mortgage payment. I'll buy your house. All those different conversations come up. But again, it all starts right now before your marketing goes into play, before you start advertising it, so that you understand exactly how this program works, and then it kind of makes more sense for you. We've all heard of Craig Proctor. We spent a lot of money over the years with Craig Proctor, and he's the number one RE/MAX guy in the entire system, but even he does these unique selling proposition. He guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less. So I don't know. If it's good enough for the number one guy in RE/MAX's whole system, I'm pretty sure it's good enough for you. It's just a matter of making that connection in this. Some other unique selling propositions: we will short sell your home. You pay no commission, no fees, no matter how much you owe. Everybody's, well, yeah, duh, but does the consumer know that? You guys may know that the short sale strings have loosened up, and I'm not sure where they're at over the last 6 months. I know a lot of that has died down a lot, but banks wanted to do those short sales and want to get rid of those properties. I had a friend that had no clue about a short sale and the options, and she was stuck in her house. It was 30 grand upside down. It was too small. She just got married. Now they have 3 kids instead of her and 1 kid. They were bursting at the seams, but she was stuck. Go into foreclosure, all right, and ruin her credit, or do a short sale. I go, well, why don't you just short sell it? The banks are chomping at the bit to short sell these things and get rid of them, and it's not as big of a ding. They forgive all the debt. There's no deficiency judgment. She did it. It's been over a year and a half now. Her credit's already being restored. She rented a big, beautiful house down the street, and she's much better off. They're much happier. They're breathing now. But does your consumer know that? I mean, she didn't know that. Is it fair to say that 30 or 40 other people in your area don't know it? So a great, unique selling proposition. New government programs falls into that same conversation, but you can see, call now for a 15-minute over-the-phone qualification. You pay nothing, no judgment, no lien, no fees, no risk, guaranteed. This is what the banks are doing right now. So all you're doing is regurgitating that information. You're just putting it out to the masses. They just don't know any better. So I think there's some great value in those conversations for you. There's still people out there dealing with this. Upgrade Works program. Sell your current home, then buy a larger home and save thousands. It's called an upgrade program that we did over the years, and it would just consist of selling their current home, helping them buy their next home, and we would give them a 1% commission reduction of the lesser. So they'd sell a $300,000 and buy a $550,000. We would credit them back $3,000 at the closing of that second home, but it guaranteed me the listing. It took away that 30, 60, 90-day sale guarantee because they liked the way I work. They wanted to stretch and get the highest price and would rather take their time to get that number than to kind of lower the price to sell it quick. And it locked them up as a buyer because they wanted that $3,000 back to buy some baby furniture for that new addition, or buy some brick pavers for the driveway, or the guy wanted to buy 3 plasmas for a man cave, whatever the case may be. But it really cemented that conversation. If I've watched a lot of realtors get a little greedy and try to double wham 3% on the buy, 3% on the sale, and then have egg on their face. And I just think that greed has no place in this. If you're not happy with 5% and a loyal customer, then you might need to get something checked, because I don't see any problem with that conversation at all. And I did this all the time, and it was part of my unique selling proposition in my listing presentation that I did for every single seller all the way throughout the entire process. That really helped change my business. Empty nester program again. Sell your current home, then buy a smaller, more affordable home and save tens of thousands of dollars. Same thing. We do this in reverse. 3% on the sale, 2% on the lesser, smaller home that they're buying. But when you look at they're saving all that money on mortgage payment, all that money on interest, all that money on taxes and insurance, plus the commission reduction literally comes into tens of thousands of dollars when you paint that picture well. Again, locking up that seller, locking up that buy transaction. 5% of all that, 5% of a $400,000 sell and a $200,000 buy, that's $600,000, man. I don't know. 5% of that sounds pretty dang good. So I'm not too worried about it. But another program that we did all the time, I did a lot of work for cops that were retiring, that raised their family in these big homes, no longer had that need. They're downsizing, buying some vacation places, getting a little condo on the beach, or relocating to like Tennessee and North Georgia to kind of retire. So lot of meat on that bone for you as well. My for sale owner assistance program had a very standardized line that we used to say, and people ask us, how much is your commission? So I have commission from 0 to 6%. I'll be more than happy to go over all the options with you when we sit down and talk, and you can choose the one that's best for you. You want the $19.99 ring, or do you want the $199 ring? You want the $14,888 Camry, or you want power windows, power suites, AM, FM, CD, Bluetooth, MP3 connectivity? Which would you want, Mr. Seller? Well, I want the nothing. I want the crank windows. Do you? I mean, you get the point. So when we talk about these for sale owner assistance program, we used to offer this out to all the for sale owners, where we would qualify buyers, review contracts, write addendums, eliminate loopholes, protect their interest, do some brochures for them. But the idea was not to represent them for zero, or to even represent them for 1%, that I would do as well. Sometimes I would offer that if they found a buyer, I would represent them all the way through for 1%. I mean, hell, come on, guys. I'd rather have 1% than nothing. If the guy's not going to list and is cocky, I'd rather take $3,000 of a $300,000 house than nothing and try to get to the next guy. At least I got a sign in the yard, for goodness sakes. But realistically, I've tried to reflect back on me, the agents that I've managed, and see if anybody ever got into that case where they had to do that for 1%. And there may be an isolated one or two times, but ultimately they end up getting the listing because of their diligence, because of their commitment to the process. And that's really what it's all about, is positioning yourself, that unique selling proposition, the what's in it for me radio station. What's in it for this buyer owner? Oh, well, hell, I actually get the services of a realtor without paying for it. But you're building your credibility all the time. You're wearing them down. They're going to give up naturally in this. Very few buyer owners have success on their own. They ultimately end up listing with realtors. You just have to have the stick-to-itness to stay on top of this conversation, to keep pumping that prime until the water starts to pour out. So that's what that is all about. It's not at all about that zero representing them 1%. It's about gaining the trust. What's in it for me, building the value, building that perception, so that they ultimately list with you. But that's a great, unique selling proposition that we used over the years. Hero Direct Marketing is a big conversation. Teachers, law enforcement, firefighters, members of the military, great conversation for you to have, with offering a 25% rebate back to those people, which is, just a quarter point, but that loyalty that you create. You do right by one cop, he's going to tell 25 other cops. Take care of a teacher, she has lunch with 35 other teachers. All right, and it kind of goes viral from there. So really great opportunity for you to connect with that, and put some niche marketing into your unique selling proposition conversation. Wednesday workshop, there's going to be some special listing agreements, including some verbiage for you to utilize. For sale by owner assistance program that we just talked about. Fireworks program is a program that we did where you could actually fire us if things weren't going the right way. It's not for the timid or the faint at heart, but it is a really good kick up, and we'll go into detail about that for you. The Upgrade Works program, the Empty Nester program that we just talked about. My Works Advantage listing agreements, some special things to put into there. The Guaranteed Results program, law enforcement, firefighter, teacher, armed forces, all those things that we're kind of discussing. We're going to go into more detail for you on Wednesday workshop session. I want to put a caveat in. We know that every state is different. It's very hard for us to really know the internal workings of every board. Some places have 4 or 5 boards. Some places have 1 board. So there's a lot of logistics that go into this place. So before you start to implement any of these unique selling propositions, make sure it's okay in your area. Cross it up and check it with your broker. Make sure that they're okay with it. I don't think most of the ones that we went over are that aggressive or of an issue to where it would be a problem for you. But when you start to get into maybe the guaranteed results program or the fireworks program, they may be a little more dicey. So make sure that your broker's cool with this thing, because ultimately he's on the hook and responsible for this. So I want to make that clear for you guys moving forward. But some of those things I think are ready to be implemented right away. You look at one of the top Berkshire Hathaway listing agents in South Florida, and I remember this guy was a bartender. We met him at Olive Garden and working hard for the money, if you will, and wanted to get into real estate and really didn't take no for an answer anywhere along the line. Came out of an interview with us to come to work for our company. We told him that, part of the process would be knocking on buy owner doors and trying to get people to list. Within about 35 minutes of leaving us, he called us on the phone saying, "Hey, I'm over to buy owner in Margate, and they want to talk to us about listing their home." We're like, "Who's this? Who are you?" It was the guy who was just in our office. So, but it was like off like a rocket from there. And he never stopped. One of the top guys, works very, very hard. But you can see some unique selling propositions that he does on his door hanger. And you may want to maximize your screen here. I know that first one. I'm going to let it scroll again for you, so you can see in the top part, sell fast, we'll sell your house in 60 days or less, or pay you $5,000. That's what that top line says. That's pretty aggressive, wouldn't you say? Just so you know, there's no difference between I will sell your home in 30 days or pay you $500, or I will sell your home in 30 days or pay you $42,000. There's no difference in that conversation. It's just the perceived value of the consumer. He took our $500 guarantee or our sell it for free and really put a big tangible number on it. And he was one of the guys that got it very quickly. Because I'm going to paint a picture for you of a 30-day sale. But you're not going to like it. You're not going to choose that option. I'm going to say, look, we can do it, but here's what it's going to take to sell in 30 days. Why don't we try to get more close to the number you're needing, more close to the number you're looking for in a 60 or 90-day conversation? And that's really the spin on that conversation. They're going to choose, like I said, the Bluetooth connectivity. They're going to choose to go a little longer and get more money than to get really aggressive in this. It's, the 1999, the 14888 Camry, same conversation. Sorry to go off on a tangent, but I want to really drive that point home because it was my favorite unique selling proposition. Some of the things he does, and if you blew up your slides in the top right corner, you'll see free pressure cleaning, free driveway, sidewalk, patio, and roof pressure cleaning when you list with him. He would have arrangements with a pressure cleaner. Maybe he was even a hard worker. He had his own pressure cleaning machine and would do it himself, God forbid. It's certainly an option for you out there. But he would advertise that, and people would say, wow, all right, this guy's going to come pressure wash my stuff. He's a pretty aggressive guy. Free moving truck when you list with him. Free landscaping, including mulch, tree trimming, new flowers. Free house staging when you list with me. So he would put all these pieces on the back of his door hanger and his marketing pieces to get them to call and list with him. Very aggressive, unique selling proposition on the front. Very aggressive offerings on the backside for his consumer. A very big perception of value for his consumer. And he is a very, very successful guy. Makes a couple $100,000 a year. So I don't know. If you want to duplicate yourself, I think he'd be one to duplicate yourself after, because he's doing pretty damn good. So you would form relationships with a pool guy. You would form relationships with a pressure cleaner. Hey man, I'm going to give you these jobs. Instead of $45 or $50 to do this, charge me $20. I'm going to give you 10 jobs. And then hopefully you can maybe upsell them. Maybe you can sell them to do the siding or painting or do some other things while you're there and earn that business. Pressure washer is always looking for business. A landscaper is always looking for more business. All these people are going to look to do the same thing. So that becomes their unique selling proposition as well in this. So some very powerful tools for you to utilize moving forward. And even if you don't do the 60-day sale guarantee or the 30-day sale guarantee, maybe you implement the U-Haul truck, or you implement the pressure washing thing. So many different things to do. Which one you're comfortable with? Pick one. Do one. I would do all of them, truthfully. We did all of these, but I would at least pick one that you're comfortable with and implement right away. And then you're going to talk about, this slide may be hard to see, so you may want to just stay maximized or go ahead and do that if you haven't done so. But this is a listing procedure checklist, and you'll see that, there's several things that we do throughout the course of taking a new listing. And it would start really at the beginning with the phone call, a multimedia drop-off, confirmed and qualified, be on time and polished. As you move through this in your listing presentation, you're going to have unique selling propositions. I would always bring up that sell with me, purchase your next home, that reduction in price. I would get the empty nester program, the fireworks program, the 30, 60, 90-day sale guarantee would all come up in my listing presentation. Nothing more important than an organized presentation of compelling arguments designed to influence decision making. Most important thing you'll ever do in residential real estate as far as I'm concerned. And so you'll have those dialogue in that conversation within your listing presentation. Maybe talk about the staging designation to be able to upgrade and improve the property, get the highest possible price in the shortest amount of time. All those tools, all those resources are available for you within this session. Wednesday is going to go into, like I said, more detail. It's implementation of the unique selling propositions, and that's going to be on Wednesday's workshop. So I certainly would encourage all of you to attend that as well. There's a lot of value in that, and I think it really starts to come full circle for you. Really starts to hit home and make a lot more sense at that point. So I do appreciate you guys being on, taking the time. You can see the unique selling propositions was a very big part of our business, a very big part of mine, something that changed my career path very, very quickly in that. I want to send a shout out to AndyMac, our sponsor. Again, like I said at the beginning, couldn't do it without it, guys. They pay us to put this platform together for you. Wouldn't be possible. Otherwise, we'd be charging you a ton of money to do this. So honor them with some loan apps and pre-quals. A simple thank you would go a long way. Reach out to your AndyMac loan officer and show your appreciation for this. So thank you very, very much for being on. We look forward to seeing everybody on Wednesday workshop and hopefully implementing unique selling propositions into your day-to-day business. So thanks again. We'll see you soon.